Listen to the rules and procedures that will follow for tonight's meeting.
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. The following is the procedure that will be followed tonight. The matters will be called in the order they appear on the calendar, with adjourned matters being called at the end of the regularly scheduled matters. Matters cannot be heard prior to their published scheduled time. When your matter is called, please submit the affidavit of posting to the secretary and proceed to the podium and give your name and address. The chairperson will then swear you in and read into the record information we have from your application, comments from various town departments, and any correspondence received on your application. The chairperson will then ask you to make whatever presentation you wish to make to the board. After you have made your presentation, the board will ask whatever questions the board deems appropriate, and then we will ask for comments from the public. If you wish to speak for or against an application, we ask that you wait until you are acknowledged. Come forward, give us your name and address, tell us where your property is in relation to the property that's in question tonight, and then please direct your comments to the board, not the applicant or the applicant's representative. We have to keep a record, and we cannot do that if there are people talking over each other or cross conversations. If someone has spoken for or against an application, and they have said exactly the same thing that you wish to say, it will have the same force and effect in the record if you give your name and address, are sworn in, and say that you join in those comments. If you have anything additional to say, please don't hesitate to do so, but keep in mind that you will be given only one opportunity to speak. After the public has spoken, the board may ask the applicant to come back to answer any questions that may have come up as a result of the public comments, or for the applicant to summarize. When the applicant comes back to answer any additional questions, if that happens, that does not start a second round of public comments. Once the matter has been heard, various things may occur. The board may decide the application immediately. It may reserve decision. If the board reserves decision, that does not mean the matter is approved or denied. It just means that the board needs more time to decide, may want to go out and look at the site again, or might want to review the documents and testimony further before making a decision. In either event, the applicant will receive the board's decision in writing shortly after the board makes its decision. If the application is approved, that does not mean that you can then go ahead and start construction or whatever it is that you requested from the board. You will have to wait for the building permit to be obtained from the building department before your go-ahead. On some occasions, the matter may be continued for another night. If it is continued, in most cases it will be for the submission of documents, a new survey, new plans, or something of that nature. If that's the case, no one needs to come back on the new date. The documents will be submitted and no further testimony will be taken. On rare occasions, a matter may be continued for future testimony. If that's the case, then people would have to come back to testify. If matters are adjourned at an open meeting on the scheduled date of hearing, no further notice need be given unless specifically required by the board on the date the adjournment is granted. 3 rules that may affect your ability to proceed tonight. 1. If the sign was not posted for 10 days, we cannot hold the hearing tonight. 2. If you commence this proceeding while you own the property, but no longer own the property, and you are here now to continue with the application, you will need either the written consent of the new owner or the new owner to be present for the hearing. This situation could come about if you sold your house or building, money was held in escrow at closing for a certificate of occupancy or permit, and you're here tonight to clear that up. Lastly, if your application is a commercial application, and it's other than a renewal, and there is more than one tenant in the building, then you need your landlord to be here. Is there any applicant that has any difficulty with those situations and would need an adjournment tonight?
Is there anyone that would need an adjournment? Please rise and join the board in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we begin tonight, there is one adjournment. It is application 24047. Property is located in Wheatley Heights on Lakewood Street in Wyandanch. Is there anybody here on that application? It is being adjourned to June the 13th, next week. First application is application 24081 of William and Denise Ratche. Property located in Deer Park. Name and address for the record, please.
Name is William Ratchie, and the address is 27 Brennan Place in Deer Park, New York.
Okay. And do you affirm to tell the truth?
Absolutely.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated May 29th, 2024. A Department of Environmental Control memo dated May 29th, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Joseph Petito dated December 20th, 2023. Tax map acting as an area map. And
Chairman, there's 6 photographs in the site plan by Robert C. Miller dated January 10th, 2024.
would you like to tell us about the application?
I'm sorry?
What would you like to tell us about your application?
Well, this is the result of a small house fire, and initially I thought it was just going to involve approval of the replacement of the deck, which is what we're doing. In the exact same footprint, we're replacing the deck. The other issues, I can't really do anything about the shed. The house is the way it was when I bought it. The deck was there when I bought it. And are there any other issues?
No, I think that's
Oh, and the awning was there when I bought it. The roof that's over the back
Above the
patio.
back.
Yeah, that awning was there when I bought the house as well, in June of 1991.
okay. I'll turn the hearing over to Mr. Correcchio.
Good evening. How you doing? Are all the repairs completed from the fire as of yet, or you still?
The fire was minor, and none of the repairs have been done because I'm waiting for the results of this process.
Okay. Did you read the planning board memos? That there's some stipulations that we would like you to abide by or agree to?
On page 2?
Yes.
Yes, I did read those.
The front deck not be further enclosed. No further expansion of the front deck. The rear roof overhang over the concrete not be further enclosed. And should the shed ever be taken down or rebuilt, it will be rebuilt in a conforming location.
Right. Those
You'd
are
agree
all
to all of
issues.
those terms?
Yeah, those will not be a problem. Again, the deck will be in the exact same footprint. That was stipulated to the architect, and that's how it will be.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion on application number 24-081 for approval, with the conditions on the planning board memo.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Good luck.
Thank you all
Was
so
easy,
much.
right?
I might do a little dance now. Thank you. It's been a long process.
Did a good job.
Thank you all again. That gentleman there was a big help. This was quite a difficult process for me.
Okay.
Thanks
Good luck.
again.
Good luck with everything. Next application is application 24067 of Louis Cassell and Deanna Barbuto. Property located in West Babylon.
Hi, good evening. Christina Bravin, Morano Expediting, 2938 Hempstead Turnpike, Levittown, agent for the applicant.
Do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated May 30th, 2024. Survey by Barrett, Bonucci, and Van Wheel dated September 22nd, 23. I have a second survey, pretty much the same thing. I don't know exactly why, but it's exactly the same date, too. Tax map acting as an area map. Environmental control memo dated May 29, 2024. And
Chairman, we have 6 photographs.
Okay. Would you like to tell us about the application?
Okay, we're requesting permission to reduce the rear yard setback from 30 feet to 25 feet for an existing roof over, reduce side yard setback from 2 feet to 0 feet for existing patio and shed, and increase building coverage from 30% to 45.87%, all in connection with the proposed in-ground swimming pool, paver patio, roof over, shed, and side yard patio. So in 2010, the rear roof over and deck was constructed. The deck will be removed. I know that was a comment in the planning memo, just to clarify. So the deck will be removed, and they'll do a patio or concrete paver on grade. The setback is consistent with other homes in the area based on our review. Property to the east actually has a large rear roof over. And they have no intention of enclosing it any further and would accept that as a covenant if the board grants the application. The side yard patio and 2 sheds went in 2008. They are small plastic sheds. One is 25 square feet and one is 20 square feet. They actually abut the neighbor's sheds, so it's not causing any negative impact to the neighbor. They have the exact same setup. They have the concrete. Everything is identical. So again, no negative impact to the neighbor. And they understand that if the sheds were approved, that would only go with those sheds, and if they were ever replaced, they'd have to conform. And with regard to lot coverage, it's very consistent with other homes in the area. All the abutting parcels appear to have similar or larger lot coverages. The paver areas were only recently counted, so if this application was a couple of years ago, we wouldn't even have to address this. If you have any questions, I have photographs. You have the photographs as well, but I'm happy to answer.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
Hi, how
Hi.
are you? I'm a little confused. There's something not matching up here. The photos don't match your survey. Your survey, they go right up to the property line, and in your photos, I see you're off the property line with, it looks like it might be gravel or something.
It is concrete. Looks kind of like, it does look like pebbles in the drawing, but it's called out as concrete.
Is that I would say it's the east side, I'm not sure.
And that's what they're referring to as a side patio, yes.
Okay, so how far off the fence or property line are you with the,
It's being denied as 0 feet.
I see that, but in the photos here,
Are you looking at, which photo are you looking at?
can we see what you have?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, that is to the property line. So the neighbor's fence is like slightly, I guess, inward. But according to the
there's a
survey, it's on
pervious-
the property line.
There's something that, so it doesn't go up to the property line,
It's a pervious surface,
material?
yes.
You know how wide it is?
The actual width there in that area, it's only a small section.
No, because
This can't be more than a foot.
right. You're right up against the fence on your survey.
Right up against the
Survey
fence,
is- I guess
yes.
I'm going to say the survey isn't correct.
It's a little less than a foot, so I guess they just called it as 0.
No, well, and what was I'm sorry, I was a little confused. What was with the sheds? You're telling me they can't be moved?
So they're just 2 small plastic sheds, and they abut the neighbor's sheds. So the exact same, they're not causing any negative impact. It's a small side area, so the more they move it over, it would block the gate.
What kind, you have the photos.
Oh,
What kind
I'll give them back to you.
Sorry. Where does the runoff go with the 0? That's my only concern.
On those 2 25 square foot sheds, one is 20 square feet and one is 25 square feet.
It looks like you
Maybe you want to see these photographs? I'm not
You may-
sure why
you want me
those
to
are
submit 'em?
confusing. Yeah, apologize. So they are 7 photographs.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's no issue here.
Just from a different perspective, maybe those will help a little. Because you can see in the aerial behind you, that's the exact, there's that. Maybe you have the wrong photographs in, that's all on the east side.
Is the neighbor's concrete also at 0?
Yes, the neighbor's concrete is also at 0. And you can kind of tell from the aerial, they just butt up against each other.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. I just wanted to confirm.
Right.
You got the wrong pictures.
I thought so. They looked a little confusing, but I don't want to be rude and correct you, Have to be nice.
Why? It's okay.
I'm like, those don't look right. Let's look at the other photos.
I don't see any sheds at all in the pictures. There's no sheds at all on these pictures. Mr. Chairman, you want to hold this and we'll talk about it?
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, they're on, we're going to close the hearing, reserve decision. You'll get the decision in the mail. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Next application is application 24077 of Eric and Christine Sabrina. Oh. Mariquin. Okay, I didn't see the other, yeah. Property located in West Babylon. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. Michael Masoni, Masoni Masonry, 3937 Merrick Road, Seaford. I'm here this evening representing Eric and Catherine in their request for the installation of a proposed in-ground swimming pool.
Okay. Do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated May 30, 2024. Survey by Brian Drucker dated August 14th, 2023, showing the location of the pool and stuff, and the shed in the back. Tax map acting as an area map. An environmental control memo dated May 29th, 24. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. And
6 photographs, Mr. Chairman.
okay, would you like to tell us about the application?
Absolutely. So 2022, my clients moved into the neighborhood. 2023, they installed a patio and a small pavilion that they put into for use of their backyard. About a half a year later, we met and they decided that they wanted to put in a swimming pool, an in-ground swimming pool for their children. The existing patio abuts the property lines on the left and right side, and they have a removable, like one of those Costco Wayfair pavilions that is in towards the left side of the property. It can be either removed or it can be moved to follow town code. It does meet the height requirement, but they are not married to it. They would obviously much rather have the swimming pool. As far as the other variances we're requesting, I feel the biggest one is probably the lot coverage. We are in a place to do whatever it is that we need to do as far as drainage goes, because I know that that's huge. We can, add dry wells, catch basins, whatever we need to do in order to get their backyard from flooding or, or pouring water into their neighbors' yards, we're prepared to do.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
Thank you, how are you?
I'm well, yourself?
How high is this pergola?
So the pergola right now is standard, I believe it's 9 foot tall.
Okay. All right, that's fine. It can be relocated? You can move it off the property?
It can be relocated, it can be removed, there's no marriage to this pergola whatsoever.
The height is fine, and if you could just be moved within 2 feet off the property line. Same thing with the pavers on all. I'm sorry, planning says 6 feet.
Yeah, I owe you guys 2 more feet, I gotta move it over. Not a problem.
Okay, and completely all the way around the yard, you give us 2 feet off the property line?
With the pavers.
So the yard has a little bit of a grade issue. The rear side of the yard is about 16 inches taller than the yard is at the house side. On the pool area, the raised area, which is the 16-inch taller side, I can give you 2 feet all the way around the yard, 0 problems whatsoever. The lower portion currently that we did not construct has a retaining wall around the left, right, and rear sides. It is 2 steps tall, so 16 inches in total.
It is right up against the property line?
I would say there's maybe 5 or 6 inches between the back of the wall and the property line.
And where does the runoff go from that now?
So there are catch basins and there are small drains that the previous contractor installed into that patio.
You don't have that anywhere on here.
I mean, I can certainly cut the patio, move the retaining walls in, and make a planter on the outside of the retaining wall. If that's going to get us, get us by, that's of no issue.
Yeah, you gotta have to, it's just gonna come back to haunt you and us,
I understand.
okay?
Other option, I mean, we could put a 6x6 dry well tank, off the house and off the pool, and I could send all the water in the backyard there as well.
Survey only shows 1 drain.
1 second. I believe. So there's a single drain on the right-hand side, and then there's a trench drain along the paver wall right before you get to the grass area.
Yeah, can the overall be reduced at all? Because you're at 90, you're almost 100% backyard. It's almost like a concrete, it's like a Cambridge commercial back there.
I actually just had this conversation with them right before we walked in. The overall can be reduced. There's a couple of different ways that we can do it. I can try and make the yard all one level, and I can put, the issue is the swimming pool up top with very little pavers around it is going to give them little use of the pool. If I make the yard all one level, I can certainly reduce the amount of pavers in the yard.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to submit whatever it is you're proposing, but we'd like, for the sake of your 3 neighbors, 2 feet, 2 feet, and 2 feet.
Okay.
All the way around. Reduce the amount of total coverage,
Okay.
all right?
So we currently have, hold 1 second, I'm sorry. So the existing patio currently is 1,384 square feet. The pool, which, do you guys count the pool as lot coverage? Okay, so the pool is 336 square feet, and the proposed patio is 1,250 square feet. So I feel like if I can get the yard to be all one level, I can probably take that 2,500 square foot number down to 1,900 square feet.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Okay, so
Confirm the height of that. 9 feet.
yeah.
Correct. I don't believe it's enclosable anyway. It's a, yeah, it's a,
Okay. Okay, so we're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision, leave the record open for new plans so that we can take a look at them. So sooner you get them in, the sooner we can take a look.
okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Sure. Okay, I ain't doing this name. Next application is application 24079, property located at 34 Wellington Avenue in Deer Park.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thomas Bloor, the architect for the project, 60 Carlton Avenue, Suite 202, Islip Terrace, New York, 11752.
And you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated May 30th, 2024. Survey by Jason Lettingham dated February 21st, 2023. Tax map acting as an area map. Environmental control memo, excuse me, dated May 29th, 2024. Prove this application will not result in significant impact. And,
Chairman, there's 4 photographs.
okay, would you like to tell us about the application?
Okay, so the intent of this application is to construct a new one-story rear addition, rear deck, and outside basement entrance. We're requesting a rear yard setback of 21.1 feet instead of the required 40 feet to the proposed exterior basement entry and 25.2 feet to the proposed one-story addition on an unfinished basement. The existing home is a 2-story single-family dwelling with a finished basement. The new addition is a den with a gas fireplace on an unfinished basement. The purpose of the basement entry would be to place outdoor furniture and items in the unfinished basement during the winter for storage. I reviewed the planning department's comments, coordinated them with the owner, and we have no problem relocating the basement entrance to the south side yard of the new addition, which would not require a variance. This would amend the rear yard setback request to be 23.5 feet to the fireplace bump out, if we don't count that as a permitted encroachment with a non-conforming setback, and 25.2 feet rear yard setback to the den addition. Furthermore, the neighboring residential home to the south has a similar rear yard setback of 24.3 feet. I did foil a copy of the survey and the original CO for that home. And then lastly, we're requesting a building area of 21.83% instead of the permitted 20%. If the board should have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Correcchia.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm just trying to see where this, is the extension going to be, there's a rear extension off the back of the garage already. It's jutting out, like, so it's 4.4 feet off the back of the house, off the back of the garage?
Correct.
All right, is that, the new extension going to be in parallel to that extension, or is it going to be further out?
It's further out. If you're looking at an aerial, if you look at my drawings, it's pretty clear on T1. There's a plot plan. Yep, right there on that cover page. You see the shaded area is the addition. So if you're looking at an aerial, there's currently a rear deck there. The addition's basically going where the rear deck was. It's not as far into the rear yard as that existing rear deck.
Okay. And so that cellar entrance was going to be off, the basement entrance was going to be off that new construction?
I'm requesting to amend it to relocate that to the side yard which would not trigger any type of variance.
Side yard off of Warwick?
No, that would be the second front. So in other words, to the south, down on the page?
Yeah, where that,
No, but I can have them to you, immediately.
as I see there's an egress there, I guess that's where you want to put the,
Correct. So the existing basement's finished. I don't believe it ever received a permit or benefit of a permit. So I advise the owner, you have to have a second means of egress. When you're digging a foundation behind a basement, to be honest with you have to step the footings. So it's the right way to do it. So it's almost barely any additional cost to build the new addition as a basement. They have no intent to finish it. We have no problem with that condition. But they're an older couple, and they said, hey, we'd love a stair, and we can take our outdoor couch and stuff in for the winter and store it in that space.
so you're willing to move the basement entrance to the south side of the home, and it's definitely unfinished. It's going to remain
Definitely,
unfinished.
100%. We have no problem with a covenant or restriction on this approval if it's approved, stating that it will never be finished.
Okay, and you're stating that the setbacks off the rear yard are similar to other properties in the area?
Correct. I can submit, if you'd like, the neighboring house to the south. I pulled the survey as well as the CO. Looks like it's all original from 1971, and the neighbor has a rear yard setback of 24.3. We'd be requesting 25.2 to the den, but then it does have a fireplace that just bumps out, and the fireplace is 23.5. No, the south, to the south. Correct.
So we would need a new set of plans to show that.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see.
What's in the basement currently?
Sure. You have an unfinished mechanical room, kind of like a standard depth closet that's like maybe 2 by 7, and then the whole area is one large open area, with 2 columns from the center girder, and 1 3-piece bathroom. And then another small unfinished closet under the stair.
There's a 3-piece bathroom in the basement.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so that sort of tends to an apartment area.
Understood. There is no kitchen in there. I personally was down there. I have photographs in there.
How many bathrooms are in the home?
It has a half bath on the first floor, and the upstairs has 1 whole bathroom with 3 bedrooms, and then you have your typical master suite with a small master bath. So there's 3 full, 1 half.
2 full bathrooms upstairs, a half bathroom, and now a 3rd full bathroom in the basement.
Correct.
For what purpose?
The bathroom and the finished basement were there when they purchased the house in,
Finished basement?
yes, it was,
So we're removing the finished basement, and
no,
you said, I thought the basement was unfinished as per.
the proposals for a new rear addition, which is a den on an unfinished basement. We're speaking about the existing home now.
Okay, so the existing home,
The-
so this basement entrance is going to go into the existing home?
No,
Well, it's going into that egress window, correct?
no, it would just be going into the unfinished basement.
So there's going to be a wall separating the two?
Correct.
So that egress window is going to remain?
They need to put that in. If we're legalizing a finished basement, they have to have an egress window. And all basements, is moving forward as per the new code, have to have either an egress window or exterior basement stair, regardless if they're finished or not.
But it has that, the existing finished basement
So it
is
has-
showing the egress window.
That's a proposed egress window. I believe they purchased the house in 2009. The basement was finished. I come to the house, I see the basement's finished, I'm like, you guys have no egress in this basement. This is against code. You have to add egress. If we're going to attempt to legalize this as a finished basement, it does have the proper ceiling heights, but
Does it have heat down there?
yes.
So,
So are you proposing an outside cellar entrance on the side with the egress window, or is there, so you're
Correct.
proposing 2 means
Yeah, they wanted the basement stair to go into the unfinished storage, so they could bring lawn stuff into the unfinished part, use it for storage.
And there'll be no access from the new...
There would be a door
the
between, yes.
unfinished basement to the existing finished basement?
No, we were proposing a door, so like you could be in the finished basement, you'd have a door to get into this storage room.
Okay.
Does the finished basement also have a entrance, like a cellar entrance?
No. Which would tend to shy it away from being converted to an apartment, you know?
All right.
It has nothing right now other than an interior stair. It's strictly single family. I know it's, you know, some people say it is and it's not, but this one is. And I don't disagree in setting it up so that even if this gentleman sells the house, that a future purchaser doesn't say, oh, I can easily turn this one into an apartment, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to do the opposite is what I'm saying.
That's what we're concerned.
Right.
That's what we're concerned.
I know where you're going.
Okay, so we're gonna need another set of plans.
Yep, that's no
to show
problem.
the
And would they
basement.
agree to conditions that it be limited open area, no sleeping, no cooking facilities?
Absolutely.
No further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. We're going to close the hearing, reserve decision, keep the record open for a set of new plans. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
You too. Next application is application 24074 of 91G LLC, property located in West Babylon.
Hello, Kimberly Furia, 45 Sarah Drive, Farmingdale, New York, 11735.
You guys got that? Yeah, you guys got it right, okay. Do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated May 30th, 2024. Survey? No, site plan, what is this? Yeah, I guess the survey, Vincent Tanico?
Borough mapping.
Yeah, by borough mapping, so survey. Tax map acting as an area map. Environmental control memo dated May 29, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. And
Chairman, there's 6 photographs, site plan by Richard E. Campos, dated June 7th, 2023.
would you like to tell us about the application?
I'm just looking to we're proposing to erect a small deck off the back, and with the reconfiguration of the lower level, we would need egress on the east side.
Okay, turn the hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
So what is the intention here?
Single-family home, it's an investment property, it's just going to be renovated and sold,
It's a spec house.
pretty much.
Okay. So would you, what do we, it's already like 1.5 stories. It's a raised, what I would call it a raised
High
ranch.
ranch.
Yeah, well, all right. Why do you need a cellar entrance?
No cellar entrance, it's egress window because there's going to be 2 bedrooms. They're reconfiguring the first floor, lower level.
How many, let's just start off here. How many kitchens are we gonna have in this?
1 upstairs.
Okay.
There is one that's downstairs now from previously that's going to be taken out. And then they're moving the utility from the east side to the west side.
Okay. Would you agree to an inspection after it's taken out?
Definitely.
Okay, and the, you said there's 2 bedrooms down there?
There'll be 2 bedrooms and a recreation area and then 2 bedrooms upstairs. And there's a 3-piece bath also in the lower level.
Wait a minute. How many bathrooms are downstairs?
1,
One upstairs?
yes,
It's a 3-piece bath,
yes,
up and down,
yes,
and 2 bedrooms downstairs.
So it's a 4-2.
correct.
All right. I don't, yeah.
Access to the lower bedrooms and baths, is just a staircase or just one entrance in the front of the home?
1 entrance in the front of the home. There is a rear, it's a couple of steps down.
In the rear of the house?
Yes,
Going
and the recreation and utility area. That's existing.
Yeah, I just have to let you know, I know you say you're speculating, but any accessory apartment needs to be owner occupied.
Correct.
Okay.
There won't be an application even put in
Well,
Well,
whoever the next guy
by
is,
us, yes.
you need to, that needs to be conveyed. I don't know, Katie, anything else you want? Oh, yeah, the driveway. Can we eliminate one of those? With
Yes.
grass?
Yep, yes.
Yeah.
I would say probably the one on to the east, because the egress window is going to come over and reduce the side.
Just eliminate whatever one you like.
Okay.
All right? I have no further questions at this time, Mr. Chairman. Other than you agree to an inspection
Inspection.
after the
Yes.
after the removal? Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. We're going to close the hearing, reserve decision. We will keep the record open pending an inspection once the downstairs kitchen is removed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next application is application 24062 of 1255 Sunrise Realty LLC, property located in Copeg. Name and
Mr.
address for the
Chairman,
record.
Members of the board, for the applicant, Mark Garabrandt, with law offices at 692 South Wellwood Avenue, Lindenhurst, New York. Good evening.
All right, for the record, we have a planning division memo dated May 29th, 2024. This is a site plan. SRF Architects dated, I think April 23rd, 2013. Tax map acting as an area map. Environmental control memo dated May 29th, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. And,
Chairman, we have 11 photographs.
okay, would you like to tell us about the application?
Yes, this application, well, let me just say this is a renewal application. It was originally approved back in June of 2013 for 3 years, and then August of 16 for another 2 years, and then most recently in November of 18 for 3 years. I know that expired in 2021, and it's been some time, and I really can't speak to what the delay was. I suspect I don't want to blame COVID, but, and
That's getting a little old now.
you know, it is getting a little old, but it might have gotten lost at some period of time. I just know that when my client contacted me in December of 23, and with respect to a notification that he had received from the town, he immediately moved on it by contacting me, and we've been working on it diligently ever since. And other than that, my client's on top of it, and he is very compliant with everything that, every request that I made of him. There are a number of variances that we are seeking, but as I said, it is a renewal application. There have been no changes to the sign whatsoever since 2013 when it was constructed. The one, I guess, change, if you will, is in the nature of the application for a variance with respect to the sign itself. It was discovered in this most recent application, and Ms. Riley pointed out that the prior applications that we had made had sought a variance from 132 feet to 50 feet, and that the plans from Mr. Feldman, which you have before you, actually indicated that the sign itself was only 100 square feet. And I did in fact verify that with Mr. Feldman's office, and that's why the application is a little bit different than the previous ones. I can't speak to how that came about. I can just say that the sign hasn't changed whatsoever since 2013, when it was previously approved, seeking an overall area size of 132 square feet. Moreover, there was a prior application, which in 2011, I believe it was, which my client didn't act on, which was actually approved for 150 square feet. But other than that, I believe that the variances are rather de minimis, and request that we be renewed one more time.
Thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Dellavecchia.
Good evening. So as you confirmed, there's been no changes to any of the signs or variances? Nothing?
Nothing's changed. I even
Okay.
have, looking even at the photographs, could see that there was nothing
Yeah.
changed.
All right, well, I was there today at 2 different times just to see. One in the morning, obviously after it rained, there were huge puddles everywhere, which, is standard. But even 8 hours later, the parking lot is still a lake. And I've been there before, days after it has rained. Sad to say, to go to Wendy's, but there's always.
I like Wendy's.
Me too. And my fiance likes Big Lots, so I don't like the shopping center at all for that. But there's always bad drainage issues there. I don't know if you can relay the message to your client to have, the drains vacuumed out and flushed, but there's always a lake in that parking lot in numerous locations, not just, near Wendy's, closer to the Big Lot side as well. And also at the corner of, Straight Path and 35th Street, there is the asphalt, it's behind AutoZone, where the garbage dumpsters are. And there's a bunch of garbage back there, debris, the whole property needs to be cleaned.
Okay. I know that my client is aware of that, because and when I commented to him that when I got the report from planning, that there were no complaints of any kind.
Yeah.
And I said, do you ever have any? He said, well, once in a while we'll get one, that, we have to clean it up, and we're always on top of it. He has somebody that maintains the property, but,
Okay. That, my other biggest concern would be, the drainage. No car should have to, drive through a lake to go to one of the stores.
Okay, I've been there a couple of times myself, even to take the photos. I haven't noticed it. I mean, is it particularly by the Wendy's area that you're?
On the entrance from 35th Street, yes. And then I would say in front of Big Lots. Not directly in front of Big Lots, more to where all the parking stalls are.
Okay.
I was there today at like 3 o'clock, and none of the water had drained at all.
Okay, yeah.
Our drains in the town, obviously after a rainstorm, they're not going to drain yet, but hours later they should be drained. And I'm sure if I went there now, it'd be the same issue.
Okay, I'll drive by on my way home.
Yeah. Don't go to Wendy's, but. And then the last thing, the renewals. Are you going to be handling that from now on?
Yes.
You guys going to get that in check? No more COVID excuse?
No more COVID excuse.
Sandy.
There was a lot going on, and
Understood.
let me take law office failure. How's
Yeah.
that?
Good.
Okay, but I am doing the dishes myself right now, so.
All right. I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. I'm okay. Want to hold it, or want to give me, just be closed?
Yeah, do you? Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve application 24-062 for a period of 1 year.
Second.
All in favor?
Can I be heard with that? I mean,
Get the lot cleaned up, and then we'll review it in a year.
Come back on time.
Yeah, on time.
all right, I know, but this is a considerable expense that my client goes through for this, to
Get
submit it,
but,
and
it's,
I was actually going to ask for 4 at the very least, and backed
You already
off
got
of it.
two. You already got 2.
Get 3
Oh, you
Being
got
late,
more
so
than
you
that.
got 3.
you got 3.
You're 2 years late, and you got 1, so that's 3.
3 years late.
I mean,
I don't mean to be argumentative, I'm just saying, it is what it is. So I'll
Well, you
start.
got two on the arm.
You can review 4 in 2024, if you come on time.
Going to start the application process now. Thank you.
thanks. That concludes the live stream portion